The goal of the video is to show you how you can use tacl to create Playwright tests without writing a single line of code and run them in cloud and also in your local machine. For this demo, we are going to take this to-do app and create to-do items and assert if the statistics of the to-do is actually right or not. Let's log in into tacl and then start creating the project. So let's create a project called this to-do app testing. Now, once we have created the project, let's enter into the project and start creating the web elements that we wanted to interact with. We have to interact with the text box and this button and a couple of these components, which is actually displaying the statistics. Let's go ahead and inspect this and try to use the Playwright locators to actually add them. Now this one is actually having the role and a name, but I think this also has a placeholder. So what we will do is we will actually create an element with this placeholder using the Playwright locator. Let's go ahead here and create actually a new element called as to-do text box. Oh no. And let's actually also give it a tag called as to-do, and then let's go ahead and select the placeholder and enter the text what we have created. And this is have to be actually treated as a text and not as a regular expression. So let's actually keep it as text and go for a strict match over here and create the web element. Now the next one what we wanted to add is actually the add button, and here we could see that the role is actually the button and the name is actually the add. Now let's go ahead and create the second element, which is actually add button. And let's give this actually a tag called as button, and here we are going to use the Playwright locator role. So the role name what we saw over there was button, and then the name was actually add, and we can leave the rest of the configurations as it is. And maybe here also let's go for actually a strict match and then create actually the add button as well. So next we have to actually go and assert these three fields. So now I don't see anything that is very specific. So now let's actually click this and then see over here. I could basically see an ID. So what we would do is we would locate all these three elements with actually the ID. Yeah. So let's go ahead and create tasks active and completed. Now we have created all the elements. We have not created any actions or assertions, but let's go ahead and then start actually creating the test case. And then let's go ahead and create the test case to do creation. Now let's use the same description. Go ahead and create it. Now first the start URL. So we wanted to actually use the start URL of the app. Let's set the start URL, and then let's go ahead and then create actually the actions in the sequence. So first what we have to do is in the text box we need to actually enter the first to-do item. So I can add an action over here. I wanted to enter, so I can use either type or fill. I'm going for fill here. This is the first to do, and maybe I'm going to call this as do your goal and then add the action. So now once we have entered this text, so the next thing what we have to perform is basically clicking actually the add button. So let's go for the add button and add the action click to it, and then say click add. I just wanted to perform the left click. I leave the rest of the settings as default. Now we have actually created the first to do. Now let's go for the assertion, and we need to actually add the assertion over here to check if in the all tasks I actually see a text which is telling one active. So we go over here and then do contain text next, and then let's see what does it say. And I'm actually adding a test. It says one task. So let's go ahead over here and then say all tasks assertion, and then the expected value is one task. Then let's add the assertion over here and then let's add the rest of the assertions. Now we have created basically the test case. Let's actually save this, go back, and then now let's actually run this test case with all the default configurations and see what happens. Now we could see that the test has started. It's actually running in our cloud infrastructure, and we could already see that the test is success. So now let's see that how we could actually run this in local so that we can see what is actually it is doing. So let's go ahead and create actually an API key to integrate it with our local execution. So let me create actually an API key called as local execution, create it. I copy actually the API key and come to my local execution, paste it over here, and then I can just simply run the npx command of tacl in order to run this locally. Now for this command, I have to actually pass the test case ID. So I can copy actually the test case ID from the test case what I have created over here. Let's copy the test case ID, give it over here, and then I wanted to actually run it in a headful mode so that I could see what it is basically doing. Maybe let's also actually add an action delay so of maybe half a second so that we could also see the actual screen that what it is performing. Now here we go. The test has basically started, and we could see that now it is doing do yoga, and then it's actually closing with all the tests completed. Perfect. And that is how you actually use tacl in order to create the Playwright tests and run them in cloud and in local as well without writing any single line of code. Thank you very much for your time. We much appreciate it, and happy tackling.